She would be really what we would call today like an advocate for environmental justice. That's not what they called it back then, but she immediately could identify the fact that the city's poorest residents were also the ones that were being subjected to the most pollution and the worst environmental conditions. One of her biggest advocacies was really sort of bringing back park spaces and green spaces to Washington, D.C., and really having spaces in the city meant for residents. This was particularly embodied in Meridian Hill Park. If you go to Meridian Hill Park today, it's really like such a jewel of Washington, D.C. It's a place that I know people love to spend time. It wasn't always that way. By the 1970s, it's really not in good shape. It's been sort of taken over by crime and sort of falling apart. And she's going to found the Friends of Meridian Hill Park organization. She's going to really work to clean up. She spearheads something called the Smile Campaign, which is getting a bunch of the local ladies together, and they would walk around Meridian Hill Park and they would smile at people, because you're a lot less likely to do something illegal or something you're not supposed to be doing if there's some nice old lady just walking around a park smiling at you every few minutes. And this really works. You could see she was honored by President Bill Clinton in 1994. She actually was able to introduce him at an Earth Day event, and he really held up the work that was done at Meridian Hill Park as a great example of sort of local park advocacy. Again, she was super passionate about DC statehood. This is an issue that she sees sort of tied to all her other interests. If DC residents don't have a voice in the federal government, how can they protect themselves against pollution? How can they protect themselves against sort of labor violations? All of these rights that were important to her were tied up into DC having a vote. I love to the left, this is the DC Tea Party. You might be familiar with the Boston Tea Party. Josephine, Butler, and the DC Statehood Party helped to organize their own little tea party as part of the bicentennial, where they actually dumped tea into the Potomac River.